So my goal in this project is to create a box for my boxes so they can stand on my shelf. I've got a little room if I want to add some extra cards and make them bulk up. And then I can either stack them side by side and glue them here, or I can stack them one on top of each other. The reason I'm not putting each box on top of each other, I am cutting them in half, is because that's really tall. It's just really tall, and I don't really have the space for that. So I would rather break these up into two boxes and have them in different spaces. This is my prototype. I always try to do prototypes in regular old paper because it's a lot cheaper than anything else, and chipboard and all that stuff. So essentially my box measures 5 by 4.5 with a little bit of extra breathing room here. I could go 4 1/4, but I don't want to because, again, like I said, I want to be able to put a little extra envelopes or anything in here, or make my boxes bulk up just a little bit more than they already are. So what I am using to make this is some chipboard that I bought off Amazon. It is not the sturdiest chipboard. In fact, bookboard would be better, but I don't have any. And you could also use the cardboard that is shipped with your scrapbooking materials. So this is just a little bit of a tighter woven and heavier. So you could absolutely use these. I think a Cherry on Top is the one who packages their papers against this thick board. I'm not going to use those today. I am going to use this because I have more of it. So if I mess up, not a big deal. You need 3 sheets of 8.5 by 11 to create one box. One box of boxes. So this is what we're going to do. You're going to do 5.5 by 5.5 on one sheet. The last piece is going to be 4.5 by 5. Unfortunately, there's no other way to rearrange these to make it look perfect and reduce to 2 sheets. Luckily, I'm doing 2 of these, so the leftover block can be used for the back. So once you have these cut, you're going to take it to your trim or your scoreboard or your trimmer or whatever you used to score your boxes originally. Okay, this is the base or the back side of our box, so we're not going to use it. Big old X on it, don't use it. Okay, so now we've got 5.5 by 5.5. So what we're going to do is get this down to a 5 by 5. So I'm going to take a 1/4 off the end here. And a 1/4 off an end here. So the inside between these 2 lines is going to be 5 inches. And then I'm going to take a 1/2 inch off one side. So what we're doing right now is creating flaps to be able to adhere our box together. Okay? So again, with a 5.5, we're going to go 5 1/4. Flip it again and do 5 1/4. Flip it and then do 5. Okay. So with a 5.5 and 4.5, we're gonna start with a score at 5. And that's all we're gonna need. The score at 5. With the long side being down here. The long side being here. It's going to be the 5-inch mark. Okay, now we're going to set that aside. We're going to take our handy dandy scissors and miter the corners. So from the score line out at a 45-degree angle-ish, we're just going to miter all of the corners. Now, not all of them, only the flap, only the part that can bend. That's the smaller part. So for example, I'm only going to do these 2 corners, and because I've scored both sides, I can go and go like that. One straight cut, 45 degrees, touching both, and leaving a little bit of room here. We're just mitering the corners. No corners to miter on this one. Okay, now we're going to fold, crease, bend, do what we got to do. Using our bone folder, because this is a thicker material. Kind of go back and forth, make it work for you. Okay, back and forth on all of them. I am pressing pretty hard on this because I want to make nice edges. Okay, back and forth, back and forth. Now, the thicker your cardstock, so this is really chipboard, the likelier you are to get a crooked line. So it is important that you do score your piece. Okay, so here is the back. We're going to line these up so that we've got this, the edges line up, and the 1/2 inch mark is going towards the back. So there's that. So we're going to go ahead and glue. We're going to glue on the inside. Let's do some art glitter glue. I don't think tacky is going to do it this time. You could do red line tape. Maybe that's what I would do. Red line tape if I had it, because that stuff is supposed to be super strong. Okay. So see how that makes an edge? Really nice and pretty. Okay. So next, we're just going to glue all the way around. Make sure it's all even. With red line tape, you're not going to be able to move it. It's going to be stuck the moment you put it on there. So I'm using wet glue because of that, because I know the downfalls of red line tape. Okay, so I'm just going to varnish this, just meaning rolling my bone folder across that seam. Make sure it's adhered well. So that's what the back looks like. And now my box will form. Okay, so we're going to start on this side. Add some glue and do the same thing we did before. But this time it's going to be kind of in the air. So I'm going to try to line up my box to the edge, and then on the inside I'm going to go ahead and use my bone folder to press it down. That looks pretty good. Now let's think here. It might be easiest to go ahead and do this other side here instead of 2 of the same page, then we've got a sturdy base to work with. So in the air, lining up my edge, using my fingers to line that up. Okay. I don't know that I would use red line tape on this because I have to adjust this for my placement, because I know I'm a human, I'm not 100%, right? I can't get that right every time. Look at how sturdy that is already. Now, when I add paper to this box, it's going to be even more sturdy, which is amazing, right? Okay, moment of truth. Let's see if everything is square. All right. Boom. Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Gonna kind of pinch, pinch, pinch. Make sure everything is good. Coming from the inside. Using my bone folder, I'm gonna rub along that edge, and voila! We have our fun little box for our boxes. Okay, now let's see if they fit. Moment of truth. Look at that. And they fit. Yay! And it's pretty sturdy. See, I knew there's some bulk right here. I knew that was going to happen when I made my cards, so I went ahead and planned for it. Now, what you could do to pretty up these edges is you could take a piece of paper, about a 1/2 inch, and just cover it. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to straight cover this with paper and not worry about that edge. And my boxes are finished. Now, I picked light, bright, like, I don't know, pink. Lots and lots of pink, because I don't get to use pink very often. I have a little boy, and my favorite personal color is blue. So my craft room is the only room in my house that I get to decorate with pink, because I live with all boys. Let's briefly kind of go over how I made these. So we talked just before how we put these together, but then what I decided to do is, you see this white line? That is just some DIY bias tape to cover the edge and make it look nice and clean. I did that by scoring at every 1/2 inch for an inch in between. So for example, I scored at 0.5, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, okay? And then I cut inch long pieces and I folded them. So then what you get to do is glue them onto the edge, just like that, on all of the edges that you want covered. So then you have this clean line here, instead of 2 cardboard pieces butting up against each other. And then I cut my blocks a 1/16 of an inch short, so that you can kind of see the edge here, and so it's white. So it looks like my white box is white, but in reality, it's craft. So these are my boxes. So I will be able to put them next to each other. I can also stack them if I wish, just depending on where I would like to place them. In my room, in my husband's room, who knows? Right? So my husband's the one who's been sending a lot of everyday type of cards, but I figure we can get those cards on a box and we both will know where they are because they're in a bright pink box. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I wanted to just share a little project that I was working on that wasn't scrapbooking related. However, using scrapbook paper, because that's the best part of scrapbooking, is the scrapbooking paper. I'm just kidding. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you'd like to see more tutorials like this, where you get to use your scrapbooking paper for something that's not really scrapbooking related. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.